Hey YouTube!
What's up? Guys, we are married. Woo! So this is our first video we're making since we got married. That's not true. We shot a lot of videos since we've been married.
It's the first video we're publishing since we got married.
That is true.
But we shot a lot of videos on our honeymoon, so...
We did. We were gonna take a break, but then we were like, you know what, we want to document this for us and for you guys, so we did. We thought it'd be fun to make a video after the wedding where we can sort of take a look back at the wedding, so we have questions.
When you think of the wedding, what is the very first moment that you think about?
I think about actually after the ceremony and when we came into the cocktail hour. You walk in and all of a sudden like all their eyes are on you. Everybody wants to talk to you and everyone wants to like talk about the ceremony and everything. During the ceremony, people see you but they can't touch you. Like they can't approach you. But then when you enter in, they're like, oh, now's my chance, and everyone's like, congrats, and it was very emotional.
I actually don't remember too much about the actual ceremony, but my first memory is as soon as we walked back up the aisle and you and I were just like behind the big apple cider barrels, and then our wedding party kind of followed us and we went into the back room and we all were just like, I can't believe this is like over. We're all like decompressing, everyone was crying.
Okay, I have a question for you. Actually, I have 5 questions for you.
5 of them? You're asking them all at once?
Yeah. Alright, my first question is, how did you feel up there? And by up there, I mean like on the podium.
I was very nervous walking up the aisle. Or walking down the aisle. I don't know which direction it would be. Walking down the aisle. My mouth was doing this weird thing where I was like licking my lips and like not really smiling because I was afraid I was gonna like start either laughing or crying. I remember my heart was beating really fast.
Yeah.
And then when I saw you come down, I almost lost it. And I was just glad that I had to do my vows first because I could kind of get them over with. That I was able to kind of listen to you and really take in what you were saying. How about for you?
Up there, I was conscious of the fact that like my heart was beating out of my chest. Like so hard and fast. My mouth was incredibly dry and I felt like I couldn't like swallow, and I felt like I was like dying of thirst, and at the same time I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. Basically like all these signals were going all over the place.
How much of the day do you actually remember?
I remember all of it, I think. Do you feel like there are parts that you don't remember at all?
Yeah, I feel like I have amnesia.
Really?
Yeah.
Just about the whole day or like specific things?
Like I am actually kind of relying on a lot of the video footage that we shot to like relive the moment. The good thing that I take away from this is that like I remember just feeling the love from every person that we talked to.
This question I guess sort of goes off that. If you could relive any moment from the day, what would you relive?
I think I would relive our first dance because I was very nervous for that also. I feel like we really did have that moment where there was no one else there and it was just the 2 of us dancing, but there was still a part of my brain that was like, move your feet. You know what I mean?
I think I would relive the moment when the dancing ended and everybody was just like feeling relieved but happy at the same time. And we knew it wasn't the end because we still had like our after party to go to. Being able to chat with people without the pressure. It's not quite the same, but it's sort of like studying for like a final, like an important final in school. For weeks leading up to it, you're like stressed and anxious. And as soon as like you like turn in the paper, no matter how well you think it went, you're just like, it's done. What did people warn you about before the wedding day that totally rang true?
One thing that people warned me was that you never have enough time for everything, and I think that that was pretty accurate. That being said, I actually think we stuck to a pretty strict timeline. The only thing that we kind of ran out of time for was taking photos with the families. I think knowing in advance, like nothing's gonna be exactly to the timeline that you set out. Don't put that pressure on yourself either. Was really helpful. Things happen and people are human and that's totally fine. Did anything go wrong for you?
We had every part of the day very well planned, but there were a couple like transition slides that were missing between the meal and the dancing. People didn't really know like what was going on or what to do. We definitely needed somebody to make an announcement like, hey, this is happening now. And then we decided to do photos in a very like busy trafficy spot. The photographer kept being like, wait, stop walking, like, all right, we're gonna take a picture. Okay, now that group, move on and you can start dancing. And like, it was just a little bit of a messy part of the day. And then we like really hastily did the cake cutting just for like the photo, and then nobody had any cake, so.
My last question is, what are you most excited to do now that the wedding and honeymoon is over?
Oh my gosh. I think there's still some things lingering from the wedding that we have to take care of, like photos, videos that are coming in. We gotta send out like all the thank yous. So for me, like I'm not quite back to a clean slate yet. I think once I do have that clean slate though, I'm gonna be very purposeful about just like taking some time. Just kind of catch up on like being a couple and like living in New York.
I think for me, I do feel a huge sense of relief coming back from the honeymoon, and I don't feel like I have a whole lot of wedding stuff to worry about. So I'm just looking forward to January when no more holidays, just like a chance to relax and be a couple, and maybe we take a long weekend and go somewhere.
What took you the most by surprise?
I mean, I don't want to leave this on a negative note, but one thing that did surprise me was that there were a few people who never showed up, even though they RSVP'd yes. And that surprised me a little bit because I wasn't expecting people to do that. There are some people who just never RSVP'd, and like that's fine, but to say yes and then to not come, that was a bit of a surprise. And then also just to like never hear from them either, you know? Like they never followed up, they never said that they were sorry or explained why they couldn't come. It's kind of hurtful. This is like a big day for people. For someone to just like not show up and not even acknowledge it, like that's really shitty.
For me, to end on a positive note,
okay,
I was surprised at how well everything went. I thought more things would go wrong. Our venue would mess up, or the after party, like the cake wouldn't arrive. Like there were so many opportunities for something to go wrong, and I was just pleasantly surprised that everything went right.
There isn't anything that we could really change that I'd be like, this would have made it better. And it makes me think like maybe we should become wedding planners.
New business venture. We're gonna tie this up in a nice little knot and say thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. But follow us on Instagram because we are gonna be posting some wedding photos on there. And we did deliver last time, just remember.
Definitely did.
And I'm Beep.
I'm Beep.
We are two Beeps.
Peacing out.
Beeps out.
And we are now two husbands.
We are husbands.
We're officially
Did you see our ring?
Husbands.
Gold rings.
They're pretty nice, right?
Okay, bye.